So, bugs eat oil.
Okay.
That's the microbes. That's one of their food supplies is oil. So when you put oil on your skin, you're actually feeding the microbiology on your skin. So this is why in Ayurveda, they've been doing Ayurvedic Abhyanga from the beginning, to support the most important thing, which is the subtle. I think that the one thing that I've learned about Ayurveda that is the most profound is that the more subtle the thing is, the more powerful it is. They knew about microbes in the Rig Veda 5,000 to 6,000 years ago. They called them krimi, invisible microbes, invisible bacteria, invisible bugs. And they had visible ones and invisible ones. And they talked about them in relation to hygiene. They talked about them in relationship to immunity. But they also talked about them not to kill them, but to change the environment, change the host. So if I could change my environment of my body, of my gut, then the bugs, the right bugs would proliferate and the wrong bugs would go away. So it's a beautiful idea. So the skin has a microbiome and it's fed by the oil that we eat. Ghee, clarified butter, is got the highest source of butyric acid on the planet. So when you boil off all the milk solids, you end up with butyric acid, which is a fatty acid that is the #1 driver of gut immunity in your gut. Humans live and breathe and die for butyric acid in your gut. Your gut immunity depends on it. It's so important that there's microbes in your gut, one called Clostridium butyricum, that makes ghee or butyric acid in your own intestinal tract. So how Ayurveda knew 1,000 years ago to take some milk, boil off all the milk solids and make this oil, I don't know how they knew it, but it turns out that that is such a powerful thing to heal the intestinal skin. And they eat that oil, just like on your skin, they're going to eat that oil. Now the problem with America is that we put oil in our bread and in packaged foods, in our cereals and crackers, that has been so highly processed that the bugs won't eat it. So when I was a kid, the bread would get hard in the day. And there was bakers in every little village. There was a bakery, and you go to the bakery, and every day they have bread, new bread. But now they put oil in the bread, and the bread stays squishy forever. Well, that oil is so highly bleached, boiled, deodorized, and processed that the bugs won't eat it. So you put it on a loaf of bread, the bugs won't eat it. So now it's a preservative, not preserving you, preserving the bread.
The bread.
Because no bugs will eat the bread anymore. Now you eat that bread, and where does all the indigestible oil that your bugs won't eat go? Right to your liver and your gallbladder. Your liver and gallbladder, #1 abdominal surgery in America today is getting your liver and gallbladder taken out. Getting your gallbladder removed. Because of bile sludge and years of eating these bad, highly processed oils that no bug will eat. So we end up, feeding ourselves with these processed foods that don't feed our microbiology. So our microbiology diversity gets less and less and less, which is dangerous. And also the waste product is, you got to put it to the garbage can. So it goes to the garbage can with your liver, congest your liver. And the liver is more important than you think. It manufactures hormones and everything. It manufactures bile, which is like a Pac-Man that scrubs and cleans your intestinal tract. But it also emulsifies all your good fats for energy and mood stability. But it also is a buffer for the acid in your stomach. So if you're not making good bile on your liver, as most people don't do these days, you're not making the buffer for the acid in your stomach. So your stomach says, hey, they don't make any acid down there. If I keep making all this acid, I'm going to burn a hole through something, so I better stop making the acid. So your stomach over time says, hey, I'm just going to stop making some of the acid because you guys stopped making some of the bile. So I'm just going to dial the whole thing down a little bit. And you'll figure out, if I eat wheat, I feel bad. If I eat dairy, I feel bad. If I eat nuts and seeds and grains and legumes and lectins, I feel bad. So we're just going to not eat any of that stuff and you're going to be fine. Problem with that is you might feel better not eating those foods, but all those foods I just mentioned, they're hard to digest for a reason. They act as irritants to the intestinal lining, the intestinal skin. And that irritation is why we have gut immunity. Studies show when you eat wheat, which is a hard to digest, irritating grain, that it triggers gut immunity. And people who eat wheat have 3 times less mercury in their blood than people who are gluten-free. People who eat wheat have significantly more good bugs and less bad bugs than people who are gluten-free. And people who eat wheat also have significantly more killer T cells, a measure of immunity, than people who are gluten-free. And that's just the beginning of the science. But the point is that we end up eating this baby food diet, going down, well, this feels bad, this feels bad, this feels take out. I've got nothing left to eat. My bugs aren't being fed. My microbiome, my gut immunity becomes compromised, and I'm nutritionally now deficient because I'm not eating any food. And so just taking the food out of the diet is like kicking the can down the road. It's not going to fix the problem. Sure, you're going to feel better for a while. And if you eat wheat and feel bad, sure, don't eat it. Don't eat dairy if you feel bad, but fix the problem. And that's what Ayurveda brings to the table, is an understanding of how to bring the whole digestive system back into balance, heal, repair the intestinal skin, support a healthy new microbiome that can do the digesting for you without having to go down the road of, compromise down the road.